All right, I think we have begun. I think that we are recording, and let's give people a couple seconds to pile in. Looks like we got some attendees coming. Cool. I think we're good to go. So this will be recorded for anybody who shows up a little bit late, or who wants to later watch this if they were not able to join, even though they went ahead and registered. But Tom's going to be taking the reign here, going through the ClaimLinx solution. This is geared for small business owners. He's basically going to show them A to Z, a very simple two-step process. Reduce the cost of health insurance, improve your employees' benefits, save your employees money, same network, full A to Z. So Tom, if you want to take it from here, share your screen and walk through it, that would be great.
Sure. My name's Tom Quigley. I work for my wife who owns ClaimLinx. Politically correct statement. So the next 13 slides, we've been doing this now for 25 years. If people watch these slides and implement this, it may be mathematically impossible not to decrease what you pay by 20% and improve benefits. So let's go from here. All right, a couple quick stats. 8 out of every 100 Americans under the age of 65 who are not on Medicare hit a $5,000 deductible. Out of those 8, 4 of them, half, have programs or grants or rebates that will pay for their deductible. 20 out of 100 Americans hit a $500 deductible. The ACA has made it where the preventative, you get a doctor's visit each year to cover preventative, covered 100%. Eliminates a lot of that 500. So the roles of the company, the primary insurance, is very simple. You need it for catastrophic or stop loss coverage, whatever you want to call it, where it goes to infinity and beyond, kind of like Buzz Lightyear. And it provides a network, and it covers preventative. Everything else, if you buy it from the insurance company, you're losing. It'd be similar to a car where you buy oil change and tune-up insurance and gas insurance. It would make 0 cents. That's why you pay so much. By implementing a medical expense reimbursement plan that we'll get into here momentarily, it's a 1954 tax law, and it rides under Section 105 of the Internal Revenue Code. And it allows you to pay claims tax-free, and the employees receive it tax-free. So, first thing you want to do with health insurance, you want to purchase the lowest cost option that you can buy from the insurance carrier. It covers everything. We're not talking about the Christian Mingle, all those shared plans. We're not talking about short-term plans. And we're not talking about minimal essential coverage plans. We're talking about real health insurance. This is an actual New York case. I hate to say this is actually true. They were paying over $2,000 a month per employee, added up to $27,540. The annual premium on the Gold plan, that's what it was. So all I did is said, let's look at the lowest cost option, which brought it down to $14,000. Not going to get into, I could save them a lot more, but we're just using the same carrier, same network. The difference was one had a $2,000 deductible, the other one had a $9,100. So if you're an employee, you're going, hey, I don't want a $9,100 deductible. So I'm saying, let's do the math. If you covered it the same way, you take the $13,000 of savings and subtract the risk of $7,100. If everyone spent a week in the hospital, you get to keep $6,000. But why not improve benefits? Cover it 100%. Help the employees out. You're still guaranteed to save $4,000 per person a year. I don't know what's so difficult. It's basic math here. And you use the medical expense plan to cover that tax-free to both you and the employees. Big savings. Every company in America should do this one. Every one. I know there's a lot of ICHRA fanatics out there. I'm just going to say this. An ICHRA makes 0 cents compared to a medical expense reimbursement plan. Utilizing the same tax law, but using a medical expense plan allows you more flexibility and more freedom. So a secondary medical expense plan is exactly what it sounds like. If you have employees that are on your plan that have opportunities to be on such plans as parents, spouses, military, individual, Medicare, Medicaid, whatever plan they're eligible for that is ACA compliant, let them take it. Incentivize them to do so by both offering them better benefits underneath the deductibles that they're going to and cost. By doing that, you're shifting risk away and it's a qualifying life event. If your group's under 50, you should always take advantage of subsidies. Why wouldn't you? This is how tough it is to make the plan unaffordable. Anthony's paying $100 a month for his health insurance. We say to Anthony, good news, Anthony, we're going to make you pay $300 starting May 1st. Anthony's like, what? Yeah, but here's the deal, Anthony. If you don't want subsidies or you don't qualify, whatever your story is, we're going to give you a salary increase of $200 a month, and we'll run it through the Section 125 premium only plan. We now have an unaffordable health plan. That's how tough it is. I didn't write the laws, guys and girls. I just show people how to take advantage of them. I'm not even going to get into that because, so I lied. Actually, it's only 12 slides to save thousands. So you designed the medical expense plan. You should create a 0 deductible, not 1,000, a 0. Make everything a copay, knowing that the insurance carrier at some point, they're covering the preventative and the catastrophic, and you're saving more than the risk. Give them better benefits. Why not? Do what the insurance companies do. Make everything a copay. Make it simple though. Make it logical. You want to use an MRI at the hospital? Go for it. It's $2,000. You want to use one outside? It's $500. See how you change behavior? Very simple. You want to use a direct primary care doctor? We'll pay for that. It saves us on laboratories, generic drugs, and also on doctor's visits and telemarketing and telemed. So, guys, we'll pay the fee, tax-free for you. However, if you choose to use a doctor outside of it, go for it. Why? Are we going to pay more? Well, because we're telling you in a nice way that the direct primary care is a no-brainer, but if you don't want to, don't do it. We don't care. Second thing, you want to put a wellness plan in? Go for it. Doesn't matter. But when you do the wellness plan, make sure the medical expense reimbursements set up such that you can take advantage of the wellness benefits so you're not paying double. Helps you out further. Lowers more savings. Took them 12 years to finally put a guidance out, but they did. And the way we manage it is you have 2 cards, primary, secondary. Doesn't matter if every single person has a different insurance carrier. Doesn't matter. What matters is the benefits for working for the company and the costs. Can't be discriminatory. No discrimination here. We're all about love anyways. So, quick breakdown. If you have the employees have $1,000 copay and they go into the hospital for cost $20,000. You pay, the employee has $1,000 copay. The employer picks up the 4, the insurance after 5 is covering everything to infinity. Rest of the year, everything's covered 100%. That person's no longer a risk. Somebody's on a drug, Humira. You have a plan where everything goes towards the deductible. Humira's card at point of service pays for your whole deductible. That person's 100% rest of the way. That's why 4 out of every 100 actually costs you money on your MERP, not 8. Focus on education is the key. No one understands what they currently have, and if they do, they're lying. All I'm telling you is this: save the money. If you want to set up a MERP where you have an HSA, health savings account option, and you want to cover a copay option, you can have dual options on your plan. You're buying a plan that may not even be HSA qualified because the out-of-pocket's too high, but you can create it with the MERP. So those are the kind of things that everyone in America should be doing. The problem is every single company I've run into in the last 25 years that had a group health plan with copays, it's impossible not to save 20%. And in fact, I could say 40 if I put in one caveat: you have to listen to what I say. So that's the game. That's the game plan. The issue is every company's different, so you actually have to think. It's a different approach. It's like kind of like the NFL. Every game, you don't run the same plays. You have to change it to win. I work on what I save companies. My company takes advantage of everything. We do A to Z. The insurance carriers are taking advantage of the public right now. That's all. The hospitals aren't much better, and the pharmaceuticals could be worse. The insurance agents, I don't feel bad for the larger ones who are getting bonuses that they don't disclose. It's insane. It's a game. So you're running with thieves. You don't have to be one, but you better think like one if you want to win the game. So that's my tidbit. Anyone has questions, fire away. I'll gladly answer them.
Tom, I had a couple sent to me in the chat individually. I don't know how
Yep,
I open it up to everybody, but
just read
the
it.
yeah, the first one was, will our employees be able to go to the same hospitals and doctors on our current plan if they sign up with a ClaimLinx solution?
Yes, we're using the same network most of the times because the first step is to get your lowest cost option with the current health insurance carrier you have. We use that as the worst case rates. Okay.
Got it. Another question, how does FormFire play into our solution and how do we utilize that?
FormFire is critical because what FormFire is it's a HIPAA compliant program that the employees fill out their medical history, which enables us to design a medical expense reimbursement plan, helping everyone from the employers to the employees out by taking advantage of some of the grants and some of the rebates that are available that no one seems to know about.
Okay, and just to piggyback off that point, I mean, basically, it's going to allow our agency team to get a full diagnostic of your group, try to help identify, what's going to cost you and your employees the most money, and look for alternatives, whether that's a manufacturing coupon card, hospital grants, drug grants, et cetera, to keep those claims off of your books. Just had another
I
question
saw
come
that.
in from Dixon. What number of employees in a company is the sweet spot?
I don't think there is. We anywhere from 2 to 10,000, but really the sweet spot for us is 2 to 200. I would even say 300. The issue is we don't discriminate. We help people regardless of the size of the company. It again, it's a different game plan for each company. So what we do for a 2-person group might be totally different than what we do for a 60-person group.
Yeah. And I think the common denominator that we've seen, Dixon, is, how involved is the owner? And I think, Tom, if you want to kind of harp on that a little bit, is the owner of the company involved? Are the main decision makers involved? And, are they just kicking it off to HR? Are they going to be actually a part of the process? That's why me personally, and I think Tom feels the same, we like to work with small businesses primarily, say they have 10 to 100 employees on their health insurance plan because they could see in real time like how this is going to affect not only their business, but their employees. Typically through our process, when you lower the cost of health insurance, most of the small businesses have some sort of cost sharing mechanism on the premiums with the employees. So if we're able to lower the overall cost, obviously it saves the business money, but at the same time, it's going to save the employees money as well. So we like to work with the small companies that are aware of that and can implement the solution and really kind of see the benefits hands-on, where a very large company, the CEO, the owner, they might be hands off. They might not really be aware of the scope of kind of the trickle down effect of, what we're actually doing here, what it means for their people.
So here's a company, 105, they saved $937,000 net. So let's just think about, I'm going to do a smaller one though. I'm going to go to a smaller one. Here's one, they saved 32,000 on 6 people. So let's do the math. Say their EBITDA factor, their value factor is 5. They've increased their company's value by 160,000 roughly. So then the next question is, what's their profit margin? And say it's 10%. So to increase their value by 160, that's equivalent to a $1.6 million sale. How many $1.6 million sales do people make in a year? I don't know. Would I be the top salesperson? To employ, what are the key reasons? Hold on here. Once the program savings are shown to an employer, what are the key reasons that they decide to not make any changes and stay where they are? That's a great question. If I took psychology in college to meet pretty girls and it worked and I learned a lot, but I think some people really need to see a psychiatrist to understand why they're in business. If you're in business to make a profit, why would you give the insurance company more money? And it's the reverse of what I just said. So if you love the insurance agent, are they worth a $1.6 million sale? Owners have to be involved. CFOs need to understand the numbers. HR has to understand that they're part of the solution of doing things differently and relating it to the employees when they come to them. If everyone is got the same goal of improving benefits, cutting costs, there's no issue. It's when one's feelings gets hurt because you're leaving their favorite broker who brings them to the ball games or concerts. It doesn't, have to be that way. Unfortunately, I can't control. I control math. Math works. It's not emotional. So it's emotions is the reason why they make emotional decisions on health insurance.
Yeah.
And
And
that's
if I
why
get
they're
if
paying
I
so
get
much.
piggyback off of that as well, just from doing this for a while, what I've seen is like, typically how the industry works is a lot of these small employers have had the same insurance broker, for 10, 15, 20 years. So it's a very long entrenched relationship. If we go to, this agent and ideally, in the business owner's mind, they can implement our solution, but keep the agent. The problem is the agent gets paid a percentage of the premium as a commission from the insurance carrier. And what we're saying is, hey, through the insurance carrier, we're going to buy their least expensive plan possible with the same PPO network with the stop loss on the high deductible. And, all the agent hears is, hey, the premium is going to be 50% less, AKA my commission is going to be 50% less. So they're never for it at all. We're basically saying, hey, your comp is going to be slashed in half by implementing our solution. So number one, they're against it. They have an entrenched relationship with the owner. They might be buddies from college or, have known each other for a very long time. That's a problem. Secondarily, HR, if you do not speak to them in the manner that they want to hear of like, hey, this is going to save the employees money, improve the employees benefits, which are all true. But if you're framing it more of, hey, we're going to save the business money, HR, it's not their money. It's the company's money. It's the owner's money. So, why would they have a direct incentive to change if they think it's going to be a new process, or they're not going to be able to work with a broker anymore, or not get these, extra perks like going to concerts or games, that these brokers share and give to them. So it just seems like a change for no reason. So that's why we're very adamant on having the owner involved, because it's their money and their company's money at stake. And if they're not directly involved, a lot of the time, if it gets to the broker, it gets to HR, there's just these smokescreen objections that make no logical sense, but it prevents them from actually moving forward and implementing it. Tom, we had another question from Dixon. Is reaching a 30 to 50% savings normal?
Yes. Well, let me back that up. If they listen to us fully, it's very normal. If they want to dip their toes in, 15, 20, 25%, staying with the same carrier, going to the lowest cost option, filling in the gap. Like I said, everyone should be totally entrenched on doing this one. Every company, including Procter and Gamble, General Electric, and the federal government, right there. Every person you should have a opportunity to get on lower cost options, and you can totally dictate and manipulate the numbers. So as an employer, to make it work, I have 3 people on their spouses. I'll pick on my daughter. She is on her husband's plan. My 2 grandkids, I'm old. So 2 grandkids, it costs us $200 a month for family coverage because his employer's paying it all. The rest we pick up underneath. They have a couple thousand deductible, but we have a 0. So they pay copays. So they use his card when they go to the doctor, and then they use ours to pay. We pay with the difference, and then they pay whatever copay they owe. So the extra steps, the card, but you do it voluntary. Hey, as of May 1st, we're going to offer you a second option. If you can find coverage elsewhere, you'll pay X amount and we will provide you these benefits. Don't have to be the same if it's voluntary. You're offering them all, so you can literally create, hey, we'll cover it 100%. We'll cover it this way. It's whatever you determine. Every company should do that. I mean, think about it. A family plan that costs, I hate to say this, we had one that was $5,700. You offer the option. You have the employee pay $1,000 a month of that, right, for their family. So the company's paying $4,700. If you choose this option, you'll pay up to $200 and we cover the rest. They flock to it. They just put $10,000 in their pocket. And they get better benefits.
Yep. I just had this other question sent to me individually, and then Dixon said the same thing here in the general chat. Basically, is there more savings if we replace the current group carrier? And I'll answer it. So there's levels to do this, Dixon. So the most basic level is go back to the current group carrier, say, hey, what is the highest deductible, lowest cost option with the same PPO or HMO or whatever network that they're on? Keep everybody on that plan, mirror the benefits or improve the benefits underneath through the MERP, call it a day. That's basic level 1. Those groups are going to save money, but they're going to save the least out of the extension of options that we have. Option 2 would be, hey, let's get form fire done. Let's identify who's going to be deemed high risk and low risk from the carriers. Let's put in 2 group plans. Drop the savings even more, reduce the premiums even further, and then give all the employees the same benefits underneath through the medical expense reimbursement plan. So it's uniform, it's compliant, and it's non-discriminatory. There's additional measures as well, which Tom can touch on with the individual.
I want to touch on that. You threw out something that a lot of people constantly want to tell us you can't do, but you can. I was fortunate enough to have the Department of Labor in 2013 call us because they were curious about what we were doing. And I was so fed up with the insurance agents in the Cincinnati market that I invited them out to audit everything we do. I thought it'd be cute. my partner in crime, a guy named Ed Lyon, and I thought it was great. My wife was ready to kill us, but it's all about love, right? So this office concluded, they reveal that we specialize in the benefit administration of MERPs. Wow. So we got an endorsement. We agreed not to use on March 30th, 2015, individual for companies above 50 with over 50. That not on the ones who did, on new ones, we wouldn't promote that. That was our agreement. And they told us, why don't you just put 2 group health plans in with the medical expense reimbursement plan? And because the ACA and HIPAA laws, the insurance companies kind of are in a quandary. And I was like, exactly. And they said, so it has to be the same cost. You'd prefer to use PPO plans, but you don't have to, but you have to cover out of network, potentially on some if their doctors aren't in the network. So what you have to do is you have to give everyone the same benefits at the same cost. That's it. So anyways, they went on, and this is usually they only give you 2 paragraphs, but this gentleman was fed up. So after the ICRAs and all those other laws came in, I called him and said, can you redo it so it doesn't have over, just as anything now? And they said, of course, we aren't going to do that for you. Come on. Joe was no longer there, unfortunately. He had retired. So what Anthony said is you could literally design a plan where you have Blue Cross, you leave the 5 high utilizers on Blue Cross, and you move everyone else off and get them low rates, such as this. This is my own company. I do this, my own company. I give them a choice. But anyways, look at these rates. 197 a single, 141. Family rates 593, 424. What's funny is I constantly, if I use Cigna, I tell them, I go, listen, hate to tell you this, I have 10 people on my plan, 7 singles, employee, spouse, child, and fam. And I pay less than you do on one family.
Yeah, just for context, like
Yeah.
I see invoices all the time from perspective and new clients. I'm seeing single rates, 7, 8, 900, $1,000. I'm seeing family rates 1,500, 2,000, 2,500, 3,000. I mean, I've seen as high as 5,700. Like Tom said, that was an outlier, but like it's just it all comes back. And this is the last question that I had sent to me individually, Tom, and maybe we could wrap it
Yep.
after this, was the comp model of ClaimLinx and how that kind of ties into what we're able to do, how we're not beholden to the insurance carriers. If you can kind of just touch on, why we get paid the way that we do and what that actually means for the clients and what that means for their employees.
Every dollar I save companies from where they currently are, I make 20 cents on the buck. So we have, show you an example of that. So we'll just use this as an example. All right, so here's a company. So their current rates when we meet them is on the left. Their new rates is the second column. So this company went from 30,000 a month to 12,000. We throw in our admin fee, which is 30, not 27. This is older, for managing the medical expense plan. The monthly pharmaceutical costs, the monthly medical costs. So we add up 12, 9, 1,400, 3,700 equals 18,000. We take 30,000 minus 18, multiply that 11,000 by 0.2. That's how much we charge on savings. We do this every month, and then after the first year, we determine what the medical inflator should be on the left because your rates would have gone up. And at any time, if you want to go get a quote on the way you had it before and it's lower, we'll use that. If it's higher, we'll use the current formula. I got news for you. Almost everyone loves my formula. I have companies who've been doing it 10, 15 years and their rates are still lower than when I first met them.
Yeah. And if I could clarify, like just from my perspective before we wrap, it all comes into the comp model. 99.9% of these businesses, they have brokers and agents that get paid by the insurance carrier. The agents and brokers can say that they work for the client, which, maybe they do, maybe they don't. But who pays them? Blue Cross pays them, United Healthcare pays them. That's who pays them. So they're selling a product. And it's just the fact that the higher the premiums are on those plans, the more money those agents and brokers get paid. It's just as simple as that. So what we're doing instead is we're saying, hey, we're going to
Larger
unshackle it.
agencies particularly,
Yep.
because they're
So
getting a bonus they don't disclose on their whole book.
that too, and they're trying to drive business to, one or two primary carriers so they hit these thresholds. And this is what none of them tell you. But instead of that, what we instead did is like, hey, let's get paid on performance. Let's put our money where our mouth is. Let's get paid based on savings. We're not beholden to a carrier. We're not beholden to a specific type of product. We're not beholden to setting you up in one specific way and one way only because it maximizes our compensation as a company. We're going to look at each company and individual specifically, and we're going to say, all right, how can we get the premiums as low as humanly possible for this group and for these employees in particular? Give them better benefits, make it uniform, make it non-discriminatory, and make it compliant. And then from there, we're going to go ahead and get paid based on their savings. So, that's where it could be multiple group plans. It could be a group plan plus individual plans. It could be one group plan. But all of those setups have the same thing where we're putting the MERP underneath to tie it all together and make it uniform and improve the employees' benefits. So, it all ties back to that. I always harp on it. It's just, hey, we get paid based on savings. So we're going to do everything that we can, not only in the setup, but throughout the year as things occur. People get prescribed high cost drugs. People have conditions pop up, people have surgeries. We're going to try to keep those costs as low as humanly possible for your employees, for your companies, so that you guys save money. Obviously, we want you to have a great result, but at the same time, we're also getting paid based on how much you save. So we have a direct incentive to do that. So, overall, I think that's the main difference between us and everybody else is that we have a setup and an incentive structure that it's beneficial to the companies, beneficial to the employees to work with us instead of just buying these group plans and calling it a day or buying these ICRAs and giving the employees a couple $100, letting them get these, extremely expensive.
Again, and ICRA makes 0 cents compared to a MERP. Zero.
Yeah. Can you, if you could finish with that, touch on ICRAs because that's been a hot topic this year. Like, what is an ICRA?
An ICRA,
why are people
I
doing
honestly don't understand why any company would pay a fee to these agents for bringing in some vendor that allows your employees to choose between a gold, platinum, bronze, silver plan. And I sit there and I'm like, you want to create the plan so they're using the bronze and look at the difference in premium and look at the difference in risk. And you go, why would you you're giving the insurance company all this extra money? Well, why, and you're asking the employees, they're going to come out of pocket $7,000 to $8,000 if they actually use it for hospital surgeries, inpatient. So why would you not set up a medical expense reimbursement plan for better benefits? And within the medical expense plan, design individual as one option. And they can also be on other plans. You can still have your group plan in place to give them choices. And then what you do is you cover the individual, but you're basing your reimbursement on bronze. And as an owner, you're not having some vendor pay the premiums for you. You set up bill pay at your own company through your bank that you use, or you use the company's credit card. Get each person a credit card so you get mileage and points if they accept credit cards. Some don't. But what you do is you set it up so you don't have to pay these ridiculous fees. I've seen some over $100, and I'm like, for what? I mean, they literally are giving you a lousy individual health plan in some states that are HMO, and they have a 7 or 8,000 out of pocket. What are you doing? That's not helping anyone. You can take that lousy plan and make it into an awesome plan by implementing a medical expense reimbursement plan. and covering some of the doctors out of pocket, covering direct primary care, covering all kinds of other things. But the problem is the larger agents see the writing on the wall that people aren't going to accept $5,700 family rates anymore, and they're going to be doing something. So what they're trying to do is go out and promote Icarus. And I sit there and I'm like, do you even understand what you're saying? And an ICHRA is called an individual coverage health reimbursement arrangement. I hate throwing acronyms out there. A medical expense reimbursement plan uses section 105B as in boy. An individual coverage does too. All I'm saying is use the tax law more efficiently. If you could write off 4 of your kids, but because you're using a system on your tax return and you only get 2, and it's the same law, but you don't use it because your accountant loves this because they get paid more, would you not claim 4? No. Claim the 4. Be smart. An individual coverage health reimbursement arrangement, 0 cents if you understand a medical expense reimbursement plan. I write this on LinkedIn all day long, and I literally find it funny because the last 10 people who are considering an individual coverage reimbursement arrangement have decided to use a medical expense reimbursement plan. Congrats.
Yep. And if you guys
Does it
know,
feel great? Hold on. Does it feel great when you save an owner 30% of his health costs for his employees? I mean, I feel good that I showed them that basic math prevails and that they had enough guts to do something different, even though everyone's aiming for them to pay more. And I'm standing up for the small business owner. That's what I feel good about. Now, obviously, pioneers get shot by a lot of arrows. I've taken a lot of hits over the last 25 years, but I still play ice hockey at 57, so I can handle myself okay. So Dr. Mike had no, okay.
I got one more thing, Tom. I wanted
Yeah.
to show everybody here as a quick call to action. If you have your own small business, if you work with small businesses, take them to our website, claimlinx.com, click on calculate your savings. This nice calculator will pop up right here. If you're able to get their latest bill or invoice in their plan, you can plug in the numbers. So let's just use, for example, a 50-person group. Say they're paying $45,000 a month in premium, say they're with Aetna, say they have a $3,000 deductible, say they renew in June, and say they're, located in Arizona. It'll spit out, all right, here's what you're paying right now per member per month, $900. If you were to come to ClaimLinx, implement our solution, on average, this would be what you're looking at in terms of monthly cost per member. Here's your monthly estimated savings. Here's your annual estimated savings. So for a group like this, they'd be saving, almost $250,000 estimated. It's obviously not going to be down to the penny, but if they were an average client, this is where you can show them with their numbers, with our, base rate of savings with current clients. This is what they would be looking at. And if they're interested in this and want to have a quick 15-minute call with Tom or myself, just click schedule meeting. It'll pop up this nice little Calendly, and they can go ahead and book a call right there and then. So appreciate everybody jumping on.
One thing I always give people their due. My golf partner in Maine actually works for us, and he designed this calculator. I didn't realize the kid was that smart, but he apparently is. So Tina and Caitlin can also assist anyone. So we have a fully staffed sales group. We look for centers of influence, people who want to introduce us to people, and they can be paid by that. We want business owners to quit getting ripped off. And we feel that, hey, the time is right now because everyone's trying to do something different finally. Took a while, but they're there. So thank you.
Yep. We have a full team ready to help you guys. So just reach out, let us know, reach out on our website.
One last one. Well, now I'm wondering, what does the average broker actually do?
I call them conduits. Yeah,
It's a
you
great
can touch
question.
on
I
it.
don't know. They give you the corporate salute. So, all right.
All right, guys. Appreciate y'all jumping on. Please reach out if you have any questions, and appreciate everybody's time. See you.
Thanks.